So 30 minutes of a topic-based training, 30 minutes of a Q&A. What we're finding is as we grow, there needs to be a place where you can continue to learn about how to do agent attraction, right? We don't say recruiting, but heck, you're learning to do recruiting. That's what let's call it what it is. And on the other side of it, we need a place where you can ask your questions as we get bigger and bigger and bigger. Mike's got almost what, 800 people in your organization now, Mike?
Almost 1,000.
Almost 1,000. Holy smokes, that was fast. Okay, so he's got almost 1,000 people in his organization. You got to have a place where every week you can come and you can ask questions. And everyone else that you guys bring into the organization, someplace that they can go to ask questions. Write this down, guys. This is lesson number 1 before I turn it over to Mike Bjorkman. Mike, let me make you the co-host here.
Yeah, because I need to go live in the group.
Yep, I'm just making you the host. All right, you are now the host. You can go live in the group. All right, so you set this up. Well, Mike's setting up the live. Write this down, guys. If it doesn't duplicate, don't do it. If it doesn't duplicate, don't do it. This is straight out of this book right here. You see it? Oh, almost. Building an empire. We talk about this almost every week. Brian Carruthers, Building an Empire. And this isn't just for recruiting, guys. This is for every single thing in your life. Buyers, sellers. You want to do more with less. You want to be obsessed with leverage. You need to learn to duplicate. If it doesn't duplicate, don't do it. So, Mike, what do we have on Star? What are you doing for the topic today? What are we diving in with?
I have a list, actually.
Woo! Then I'm going to turn it over to Mike. Are you ready to roll, Mike?
Yeah, let me go live real quick. Yeah, can you go ahead and take off?
No, I'll wait. I'll hang out, do my thing. I'll be back in a few minutes. I just got to go make sure my 2-year-old's not exploding. Spontaneous combustion. Because no one has child care issues during COVID. I know kids, you guys without kids have no idea what I'm talking about. Everyone with kids was like, I feel you.
I think it's hilarious. All the payback from all those years when I was like wiping babies' butts, and now freaking you guys are all paying the price. It's like, yes.
And we're live.
Yeah, live, but not recording yet. Oh, we are recording.
We are. Mr. Mike Bjorkman, rock and roll. You're going to drop some knowledge. I'll be back in a few minutes. Give them an agenda, an overview where we're going. Let's see if we can keep it to 30 minutes and then topic-based training and then 30 minutes Q&A. If not, I already told before you got here, no one puts baby in a corner. No one puts Mike Bjorkman in a corner. So you do your thing.
I know. Get out of here. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about best practices for super simple, just all day, every day, things to pay attention to, things to look out for, things that are working as I coach agents all over the country that are in EXP and outside of EXP, things that I'm picking up, and it's just a lot of fun. So the number one thing that's working today, and you guys can come off and say, if you need me. The number one thing that's working today is the brokers that you guys are talking to in everyday business. So by show of hands, who is actually every single time you talk to an agent bringing up EXP to them? Okay, good. So I'm glad you guys aren't liars, because I know it's really hard to do sometimes when you're talking to another agent, and usually they're calling to see if a home is available. Is that kind of how your markets are? Shake your head if that makes sense. So yeah, that's real, right? So there's a couple different scripts that I'm really getting comfortable with, and I'm trying to stretch out conversations as much as possible with these people. And I talked to them, I said, hey, listen, that house is currently unavailable, but tell me more about your buyer. I'll take down some notes, and I list a lot of properties, so I'll call you if I have something coming up in the near future. That's a fair thing to say, right? So my buyer's this, that, and the other, and they're pre-approved with Joe Schmo at so-and-so financial. Cool. And stretch it out to one more sentence. Wow, what company are you at? Oh, fantastic. You're at Coldwell Banker. You seem like a really cool person and a good fit for our company. Has anybody ever sat you down and showed you briefly what EXP is all about? Now, since I started being more comfortable in doing this with people, it's freaking working. Most people have no clue about EXP. And what the other thing they're saying is, oh, of course I've heard about EXP. It's that blank, whether it's the MLM, the pyramid scheme, the company that the stock's going off, it doesn't even matter. And I go, on a scale of 1 to 10, you guys learn that I use on the scale of 1 to 10 a lot. Why? Because it works. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at joining the company? Scale of 1 to 10, How's your business? A scale of 1 to 10. How much do you feel comfortable knowing the platform of EXP? And they're like, I don't know. I've just heard about it. There's some agents calling me, and there's some agents in my marketplace that are joining that company. I say, fantastic. Just like a for sale by owner script, expired script, it'll take just a few minutes to explain the platform to you. Would you have time this afternoon or possibly tomorrow? And then I talk to them a little bit about your business. Now, sometimes it's easier for me as a coach. I can offer to help them with their business. I say, how's your business looking? What's going on? And that's another really good conversation point, by the way. How's your business going? Since COVID, has it gone up, remained stable, or down? Doesn't matter what they say. It's an amazing opportunity to say, if you're not a coach, let's say you're only 5 days new into real estate, you can say, you know what? That's awesome. One of the things that's really helping my business is our organization, our collaboration. We do a ton of training. That means we have role plays every day. We have 8 o'clock huddles every day to get motivated and boost your. We have live training every single week. On Mondays, we have recruiting trainings to help you build your team every single Thursdays. This group is so collaborative, possibly that could help your business too. You don't have to drag it out as long as I just did, but it really seems to be working as far as starting up conversations. People have zero issues talking about it. And let's be honest, you guys, if you're talking to people, do you see the curiosity getting more and more and more out in the marketplace? Like, I'm having people asking me every single day. Now, our organization and everybody on this call is tied together some way, somehow, or pretty close. And you guys are doing a fantastic job, unlike some of the organizations that I see that are being cheesy about it, right? You guys are actually doing a very good job pointing out the highlights, not bashing other companies. And we've stopped a lot of the goofy memes that are trashing other companies and stuff like that, which I highly recommend, obviously. And we're being very mature about it. But now we have some bragging rights, don't we? We really do. Our stock's doing an amazing thing. Our technology has gotten us through COVID. We're changing lives. We're training. We're being super open and collaborative. A lot of people are starting to travel again and do events. And it's working. So people like to hear that sort of stuff. Was that a question or was that a comment? No? Okay. So another thing that I've been finding very powerful too is when we have, when I'm talking to agents, especially the newer agents on the organization, they're like, what am I doing right now to bring in people? And we just kind of did what I did when I was new. I brought in and I said, you know what? I'm going to go through all my old text messages because sometimes I don't answer the phone. Would you agree you don't answer the phone every time it's not a number you have saved? And then the agent text message you and says, hey, I'm just calling on Cherry Street. Is that still available? Well, now I'm starting to go back and have people go back through the text messages and just say, hey, just so you know, I'll keep you up to date on that particular property. However, whatever you want to say about EXP. And here's something crucial, you guys. You got to remember to follow EXP announcements in the workplace group. Every day they post 2 or 3 spectacular things that you can share with other agents. That also translates to the public-facing EXP Realty Facebook page on the public Facebook. So it makes it very simple to copy and paste and share, but all those things go to an EXP website, all those announcements, and you can copy and paste that and say, hey, just curious, have you heard about this? And when our stock went nuts, I did a lot of that text and I went through my old text messages, but it's kind of fun to go back and just say, hey, listen, have you heard of this? Now, typically I like to get permission from somebody, either mentally or physically. So I have the right to have that conversation. But you know what? If they are texting me, I'm telling them I'm going to keep them up in touch with the property. And if I kind of know who they are, because let's face it, most of the time we have some clue who they are. And if they don't, that's fine too. Could be shooting in the dark, but what we're sending out is pretty good information. It's not like we're asking them to sit down, hey, have you heard about our company? It's doing really cool things. Would you like more information? Check this out. Simple as that. But however, in the last couple of days, it's working for the agents. And I love that it's working for the agents. And actually, it's working for the last few months. So go through your phone. Now, there's not anything better than actually using a service that rounds up the agent's cell phone numbers and emails, and I hope you'd agree with that. So I use Market View Broker. Market View Brokers through Showing Time, they have most of the agent's information there. Or excuse me, they have most of the states and most of the cities' information now. So if it's not in your city, I know there's something else, right? And a lot of times, I'm surprised at how many MLSs you can just download the freaking realtor list. It's crazy, right? And if you're that desperate, you can go run status, you know, active pending sold the last 30 days and just download all that stuff, right? You can download, or at least we can in LA, we can download a CSV file and it's got all their information. So we're going to try to build up curiosity with those people too. Now, what does that mean to us exactly? We all have KV Core. Every single one of you watching on Facebook, you have KV Core. And I want you to realize that that is not just for real estate agents. It's for recruiting too. So if you're in my organization and you got a text message from me last week, that's where it came from. It came right out of KV Core. So you can text these agents and you can do things like share properties. What I really like to do is share my new listings with people. Hey, these are my upcoming listings. And I know some of you have more sensitive laws about MLS and not being in the MLS than others, and definitely don't want to debate that. But you can say, hey, check out my 3 latest or my new latest or our company's new latest listings. And by the way, look what our company's doing. And you can have 2 or 3 of the articles sharing success. Like we have so many things that we could be sharing. So we could share about our stock. We could share about our production. Those 3.
Give me a minute.
All right, hold on, Heather. Let me mute you. Those 3 slides were so powerful about our agent growth, our production, and then joining. We're going to open in 5 other countries. So you could make that a weekly email or a bi-weekly email, depending on your comfort level, and share the link to the blog post, because those are all public facing blog posts that you can share with the agents. Now, remember, like we were at John Sheplak's house the other day, and he says it could take 11 to 16 contacts before a capping agent or a producing agent before they will sit with you, right? Not even before they come over, before they'll sit with you. Now, let me ask you a question. How many contacts does it take for a buyer in a database to end up setting an appointment with you? You guys know that? Same amount of contacts. So we're treating real estate agents just like we are buyers. So you're going to have a nurture campaign with all different touches, right? How do they respond? How do your buyers respond? We all have these huge, massive databases of buyers. Do they respond to text? Do they respond to email? Do they respond to phone calls? And that's how we're going to hashtag them or separate them. I'm going to put you on a text campaign. I'm going to put you on an email campaign. And what else could we put on there to drive more curiosity, or maybe even a call to action? Which, if you don't have network groups, like we have network groups here, like I have group coaching, we have a Facebook group for that. So I'm always inviting people to that. But if you look what John Sheplak did with us the other day, he was basically selling his coaching without selling. My old coach, Dave Van Hoos and Dustin Matthews, they would do the same thing. They would pull the curtains back and show you why they're so successful. And they're instructing me to do that too at the same time. But really what they're doing is upselling me to whatever next high ticket package they have, right? So I'm talking about 2 different things at once. Sorry about that. But the reality is if something we're doing is working, why aren't you doing it too? So, so think about if you are in like where's Mike? Mike was just on here, I thought. Anyways, Mike Henry, right? So oh, there you are, buddy. So he goes, hey, I want to start a local group too, a network group. And I don't know how well, you can come off mute and tell me, but I don't know how well it's working or not. But last count, there were several hundred agents in there, right? So now he built himself a platform to where he can talk about real estate and subtly, right, Mike, subtly drop things about EXP, possibly once in a while an EXP explained, You could post your upcoming listings or whatever's going on with your board. But the whole idea is to be in front of their face at all times, right? Because out of sight, out of mind. Like I'm talking to several agents right now all over the country that literally this morning, they're talking to another EXP agent. I'm like, oh, stop talking to EXP agents until you're signed up under us. Like, come on, stop it. But everybody's talking to somebody, but these agents are choosing us. They're choosing our organization for our support, our collaboration, all that different stuff. So lead transport competitors better than their current.
Did you say that out loud yet, Mike?
No, I'm getting to that in a few minutes.
All right, cool. Then I won't steal your thunder. I just jumped back on and I was like, I love what he's talking about. Keep going.
So anyways, the idea is to start some sort of community, start some sort of drip campaign, start some sort of text campaign, use the technology that we have, right? KV Core is a perfect example, and I've proven that it works, right? We're also using BombBomb. So have a reason to not be cheesy and deliver good, solid information. Rob Flick tells us in his 90-minute video, once a month, I go through my EXP. Now, we should stop there for a second. In my phone, it'll say EXP lead Scott, EXP lead Megan, EXP lead Jesse. So I go down my list based on who I've talked to, and I will send literally copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, just because Rob Flick said to do it, right? And I forgot, oh, Brent Go said it. If you want what we have, do what we did. I effing for sure want what Rob Flick has, right? 700 grand a month in revenue share.
I was just going to say, will you repeat that again? What does Rob Flick have?
700 grand a month in revenue share. It's probably up by now. That was a while ago. So the reality is I want to do those things too. So go through your EXP lead, go through your entire phone and make sure it's organized, because when you extract your phone list to upload it to your KV Core, then you have most of it done for you. But it's so funny. When I look at my phone, I think we counted it the other day, there must have been 300 or 400 people that I have physically talked to in the last 2 years. And I look through this list, and oh, by the way, when they do convert to EXP, I then rename them EXP Jesse, EXP Eric, EXP Mike. Right?
But do you put who their sponsor is also in there? Because you taught me that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it starts getting out of control, right?
So here's an actionable tip, guys. If you're going to save people in your phone with EXP, if they're not on your first level and there's someone else in your organization, write who their name is, dash their sponsor. That way you can always connect back, right? So like Craig Chastain, I'll use an example of Craig who's on this call. Craig is someone I've known for years. When he joined EXP, he joined under someone I had already sponsored named Don Mowry, because they're both in the same area in Southern California. They work really well together. So Craig Chastain is saved in my phone. Even though I'll never forget his sponsor is Don Mowry, he's saved in my phone as Craig Chastain, Don, and under company, it says EXP-Don Mowry. Because whenever I search for Don's name, Craig pops up too. And if I'm going to text things to one of them, I'll text to both those guys. I'll conclude them together. We want to further create these partnerships and collaboration. Does that make sense, guys? So Craig, I'm sorry you're linked to Don forever, but just so you know, you're linked to Don forever.
No, that's awesome. So if I think you guys understand that. Here's another really good point. People, for some reason, psychologically love anniversaries, right? They celebrate birthdays, they celebrate anniversaries, wedding anniversaries. They celebrate, LinkedIn even says, congratulate Jesse Zagorski, 1 year at EXP. Anniversaries to the human race is a big deal. So let's make it a big deal. My anniversary is this month for 2 years. You bet your booty I'm gonna do a 2-year video, and I'm gonna explain to people the good, the bad, the ugly about what I've learned about EXP, what I thought about EXP when I joined, and now what it is today. I'm gonna talk about how much stock I had, and now what it looks like today. Same thing with revenue share. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them through a journey and make darn sure that they are actually understanding that not only have I been here 2 years, but I've done certain things and hit certain milestones. But all I want to do is just create that curiosity loop in their mind saying, man, I remember at a year he said that, and now it's 2 years in this, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So how long have you been at EXP? 6 months? Perfect time to do it. A year? Perfect time to do it. One of my most watched videos when I sent out emails was my first 30 days at EXP, because that was the video that Tammy and I, Tammy publicly said, I came to EXP kicking and screaming. I did not want to go. I almost broke up with Mike because of it. But now, after 30 days, like that was one of the best videos ever. We still use it all over the place to this day. Raw footage of that will never be deleted, right? For those of you that don't know me back then, 2 years ago, I used to have a partner named Tammy, so it doesn't matter now. But so that's a really good thing. And the other thing I was going to try to talk to you guys about is
can you pause right there first on the videos? I want to ask you a question, Mike, because I want to unpack this a little bit. Because even though you say, "Hey, go live, tell your story, guys," I want to make sure they know exactly how to do that. So, Mike, do you consider yourself a good storyteller?
I think so.
I think you're a fantastic storyteller because the best salespeople on the planet are good storytellers. And this is not a training today about how to tell stories, but if you don't know that you're a good storyteller, you better go learn, and you better go learn fast. There's a lot, just Google, how do I tell better stories? Mike, you tell stories all the time. Stories sell. Facts are boring. Stop facting people to death about EXP. Did you know that our stock went up X percentage at this period of time? No one cares. No one cares what percentage the stock went up because they don't own any of it. But they understand when you say something like this. You say, look, when I joined this company, I didn't really care about the stock, honestly. Like, I mean, I have a degree in economics and I still didn't care. Stocks go up, stocks go down, whatever. Like about a month ago, I looked and I noticed that I've been with the company a year and a half. I had $100,000 in stock. Like I started paying attention and then the stock went on this crazy run up and I looked again and I have 300,000, true story guys, I have $300,000 of EXP stock today, okay, after a year and a half in this company. Is that I got a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. That is a college education for at least one, maybe both of them, just for being an agent at this company. I hope some of you got chills when I just said that because I got chills telling that story. That is a story. Oh, yeah. That is emotional.
It's hard, baby. So,
right?
So, and let me extend on that just a few more minutes. I know we're going to get into question and answers in a few minutes, and I still have a whole list of stuff to talk about, but I do use that story. And I don't know if you truly have the same story as me or not, but I came from not an economic degree. Therefore, I didn't give a crap about stock. And that's the truth. Every time I tried to invest in stock, I lost my ass, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars from my moron bonehead friends recommending stock after it already did its thing, right? So I always said, I don't care about the stock. Like Jesse said, after the first 6 months, I started going, we're making a little bit of money here. This is cool. This is motivating. This is fun. Yesterday, and I mean yesterday at 3:30 p.m., I had a call with Don Mowry and another agent. And he goes, Mike, this is what I need you to talk about. I don't care about the stock. I don't care about the revenue share. I care about the numbers. And I had just gone enough time without my Nicorette and I was about to punch somebody anyways. So I said, let me tell you a story, Mr. So-and-so. And he goes, what? And I said, I, just like you, was thinking about coming to this company. I owned the brokerage. I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go, but I wanted a profitable team merge, blah, 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 blah. And here we go. So I took him down the path of how I bought in for $56,000, my own money, $56,000. The rest was gift. And now today, and I said, hold on, screen shared and showed him $500,000 in stock that I have. And I said, now you tell me, did you make that money in the last 2 years and do you have it in the bank? And he's like, I said, listen, I'm just like you, right? I'm here to help you. That's why I'm on this call. I want you to understand that this isn't icing. This is icing, frosting, filling, inside, outside, plate, napkins, everything. I have 500 grand and I didn't have that 2 years ago. And he's like, okay, well, let's go back to this. And I said, oh, you want to talk about revenue share? He's like, no, I want to talk about the numbers. And I said, here's the deal. In order for you to understand those numbers, you have to go down this journey with me. Do I have your permission to take you? And when I was done with that, because I know this guy only cares about the stock and the revenue share. I read it right into that in the very beginning because he already knows about the splits. So by the time I was done telling him the story of the revenue share and how it went and what it looks like, he didn't want to hear anything else. He basically said, I have a few questions that I'm going to email you. Other than that, I'm in, right? So it was super simple. And with story selling works because if you just try to show numbers to somebody, it doesn't work that well. You have to tell them your success.
So here's the takeaway for everybody watching. If you don't have $300,000 of EXP stock, it doesn't matter because Mike has $500,000 and you can tell Mike's story. My business partner, Mike, here's his story. right? If you're not in our organization, some of you on this call, I know you're not in our organization. That's great. I don't care. We love all the EXP agents, okay? Liz, shout out to Liz. She's not in our organization. I'm happy you're here.
Brown.
Liz can say, look, my friend Mike, who's also with EXP, you can, it doesn't matter what organization you're in. We're all one company, guys. Like every organization is great. Just everyone has their own flavor on it. So just figure out how to connect to someone else's story if you don't have your own story yet.
And it's really important we sidetrack for 1 second on that too, because here's what I'm running a lot into right now. People are saying, crap, I missed the boat. Stock went from $10 to $40. So what do? I tell the story about my friends in the industry that got it at 50 cents. And then when I got in at $8, I was like, I missed the boat. It's already $8. It went from 38 cents to $8. They all became multimillionaires and I missed the boat. And now here's the same boat story, right? So I say there's 2 boat stories. Are you going to miss the 3rd boat? Like, let's think about this. What we're doing is epic, and it is of no other company has ever done this. We're going global. We're not going national. We're going global, right? 2 billion real estate agents on this planet that we can best guess, and we are going to take all of them. Like, what don't you understand about? It'll be 100 by the end of the year. It'll be 200. It'll be we are going to be the Tesla of the world. Like, come on, right? And that's how.
And here's the power of story, guys, because I just typed in the chat box. Are you going to miss the 3rd boat? Mike, I love your scripts. Like the things that come out of your mouth, I don't know if you say that a lot, they're so flipping good. Is it just me, guys, or do you love the things that come out of Mike's mouth? Like most of the time, right? He has such good things. And so don't go put on Facebook, are you going to miss the 3rd boat? That's not compelling. That won't tell a story. You have to tell the story up to that point to get to the punchline. Does anyone have a favorite joke? I'm not going to make you tell it. Just raise your hand if you know a funny joke or you've heard one in your life. If you just blurted out the punchline, would anyone care? No, they would think you're a weirdo. But when you tell the joke right and you say the punchline, people laugh. You think you're funny. I don't know why, but they think you are. You know, so that's the same thing with using stories. We got sidetracked, but Mike, it's good stuff. We need it. Maybe what we can do is, because you have a long bullet pointed list, we can open up for a few questions and then come back. If no one has questions, we can come back and keep using bullet points, or save your bullet points if we don't have time for next week too. What do you think?
Boom.
Want to do that?
Yeah, and there's some really good people on this call, you guys. What kind of questions? And you could type in too if you're watching on Facebook, because I got you right here too. So go ahead. What are the worst objections you've had this week? What makes your tummy sick? What makes you get the chills? What gives you the butterflies in your tummy? Remember, if you've watched my boot camp, the chicken list, you got to make that chicken list. Everybody you want to call it makes your stomach just, talk to me about your challenges. Like, are you all in? What would it look like to be in? What do you think it takes? What's holding you back? And let's help you do some breakthroughs right now.
Did Chris, did you come off mute? Hey, what's up, Dominic? Chris, did you come off mute to ask a question?
Yes.
All right, go for it, Chris, and then Scott Marlowe, you'll be up next. And anybody else who's got a question, we'll just work in that room. Go for it, Chris.
Yeah, so Mike, you mentioned about the idea of talking to bringing up EXP with every agent you come across. And one thing I just want to ask you about, when engaging a transaction with somebody, typically I've waited to the end of the transaction to really talk about it and then try to get together with them just to catch up and thank them for being a good agent. So am I waiting too long?
Yes. So when's the best time to ask for a Google or a Facebook review or a Zillow review with the client?
As soon as it's closed?
It goes under contract.
As soon as you go to contract. Everybody's happy and nothing's effed up yet, right? It doesn't matter. By the end of a good escrow or whatever transaction you call it, there's always something that goes wrong. You've made that guy pitch in another $500, but by that time, it's too late. You have 30 to 45 to 60 days in some cases to slowly nurture these people, right? You have the opportunity to build a relationship, so you don't have to be the one-hit wonder when they call to see if a property is available. This is the best time ever. Say, you know what, Chris, one of the benefits of working with us is I actually enjoy working with real estate agents I care about and that I think are professional. Obviously, I had 4 offers on this property. You handled this in such a professional manner. It seems to me you led your clients in the right direction. You proved to me that I feel like I can go through this transaction with no frustration. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So I got to ask you a question. You seem so cool. You actually would fit in really good with our organization. Have you ever considered sitting down and looking at the EXP platform?
Good.
You know, it'll take just a few minutes. How about you and I celebrate? Let's do a Zoom tomorrow. Tell the story about how we met those clients, and let me give you the 4 pillars of EXP, and possibly through this transaction, I can walk you through. Because if nothing else, I always thought it made sense to sit down with my competition. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Awesome. What are you doing at 12 tomorrow? Do you want to have lunch together?
Sure. You're
All
buying,
right.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Over Zoom. I'll send you a Starbucks. So you see how fun and easy that is? We haven't even got to the inspection yet. In the inspection, I'm going to ram something so far up your bung, you're going to, you know, concede to something. But right now we're friends and I got that curiosity going. So we have 30 to 45 days to get excited about it.
So we got to dive into this, Mike, because the one thing I care about, we want to teach you things, but we want you to actually use them. And you can jump in 1 second. I see you got a question. Give me 1 sec. I want to talk about personality types. Raise your hand if you're on this call. I love that all you guys are on camera. So many of you guys. You guys know the DISC personality assessment? Everybody roughly familiar with that? If not, go look it up later. How many of you, okay, put your hands up if you are a high D, D as in dog, the dominant driver decisive. Perfect. Those of you with hands up, keep your hands up. The script Mike just told you will work great. Do it all the time. Okay. How many of you are high S's? Raise your hand. Oh, interesting. How many of you are high I's? Some of you may use that script that Mike just said, but you'll have to channel your inner D, right? You have to not be worried, because I'm serious. I've talked about this for a lot, Mike. That script is amazing, and people will say it's amazing, and then no one will actually use it because you are a special person.
Okay, let me flip it to a C, right?
Okay.
Let's just redo it. Chris, hey, listen, I wanted to tell you something. Building relationships in my real estate career, my local community mean everything to me. One of the reasons, and I mean one of the reasons that we're in this transaction together is because I firmly believe that you and I are going to come out of this friends, and we're going to have a relationship for a long time. So next time we have a transaction where it might feel like a battle, you and I can basically just jump right in and do this again. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And you know, it's kind of interesting. One of the things about our company is like, we collaborate a lot, and we really are close friends. And I might sound goofy, but we're actually family. We really are family. And when you're financially aligned, there's a bond that's unbreakable. And you fit in, Chris. I really think you do. Maybe tomorrow, just for a few minutes, do you think you and I could maybe break some bread together and talk about it?
Yeah, let me check my calendar real quick.
All right.
Yeah, are you available like 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
Dude, Mike, I'm so glad I asked that, because now you guys, when you go back and listen to this recording, right, it's on titaniumagents.com. It'll be posted in EXP Pros group. Go back and listen to it. You've got 2 different versions of the script. One of them will work for some of you, right? Half will work for one script, half will work for the other. Now there's no reason any of you can't use this script. And Lonnie, you had a question. Go for it.
Yeah. So my thing is I talk to a lot of agents about EXP, right? And then what they'll do is they'll have conversation with them, whatever case may be. And then they'll start getting recruited by another agent, but then they want to come back to me for confirmation of why did I come over again, or it's other agents who know me in the industry coming to me to double check why I came to EXP, because they're thinking about making the move. And so how do I close that gap to where they're now I'm their sponsor per se? Does that make sense what I'm saying to you?
I'm not quite following. Mike, did you follow?
No, I was reading the Facebook question.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Lonnie. Love you. Can you say it one more time?
No, so I'm just trying to understand. So you said, did you have the initial conversation with them?
Yeah, so a lot of people will come to me because they know that I was with this particular brokerage for a very long time. I was like gung-ho for this brokerage, and then I made the move over to EXP, right? But back in October, almost a year ago. And so them seeing me making that change, it sparks their curiosity. And then eventually they reach out to me and say, hey, Lonnie, I'm thinking about EXP. I've talked to a couple people. I want to know why you moved over. And I know they're going to move over, but then how do I solidify that? Because I know they're looking for my...
Yeah. Not fully understand. All right, guys, this is the thing. This is EXP company culture. We're not trying to steal other people's recruits. Everybody put up your hand and say this. I am not trying to steal someone else's recruit. Make this promise, okay? This is the same thing I do when I'm talking to agents on training on going for listings. Some of you on the call go for a lot of listing appointments. I don't know if anyone has ever called an expired. I used to call a lot of expires, okay? I never want to steal anyone else's client. There's plenty of clients in the world. Lonnie,
it's also not, it's not me stealing. It's like these,
Lonnie,
I have
Lonnie.
had conversations with.
No. I know. I'm going to clarify. You're not stealing anything. I just want to frame this up correctly. Okay. You're not stealing anything. You have
If anybody from corporate ever heard this, Jesse is saving our assets. Go on.
I'm trying to make this sure that we're really clear, guys. But I'm serious from a company culture, because all of you, if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's going to happen to you, where you've talked to someone and they sponsored someone else and you're like, ugh! And I never want to do that to someone. Okay. So here's the way it works. I ask buyers and sellers, are you 100% let's mute that out there, Mike. You're the host. I actually can make you the co-host, Mike. I always ask buyers and sellers, are you 100% committed, right? Do you have an, just curious, don't want to step on anyone's toes. Do you have an agent you're working with? Yeah, I've talked to so-and-so, blah, blah, cool. Are you 100% committed to working with so-and-so? That's the language I use with buyers and sellers. I don't say the same thing in EXP because it's too weird to say, are you 100% committed to your sponsor? That's a weird thing to say. So what I say, Lonnie, let's role play it. Ready? You reach out to me. You've seen my post. I call you. You hit me up on Facebook. You go, hey, I saw you switched. Can you talk to me about this? And you tell me you've talked to a few people. Here's what I'm going to say. All right, Lonnie, first of all, let me just tell you, there's zero pressure for me. You know me for a while, right? I want to happily explore EXP with you. There's no pressure. You want to switch, you don't. If it's a good fit for you, awesome. You told me you talked to a few people about it. I really don't want to step on any toes. Tell me, how far have you gone with these people? Have you had a lot of deep conversations? Are you pretty close to joining? Like, where are you at?
I've had several conversations. I actually have another conversation scheduled for tomorrow night.
Okay.
But I want to get, and this is where this happens, is I want to get the pros and cons, and I want to know what your experience was and why you moved over.
100%. And I will tell you every pro and con, and I will help this other person. If you want to sponsor them, I'll help you join them. It depends. If you are saying, look, I'm excited about joining with this other person, I've had many conversations, go for it. But if you're still investigating, you're like, look, I haven't even decided I'm coming to this company, and you want to have an open conversation, either way, I'll talk to you. There's no pressure for me, but like, if you just got to tell me where you're at. Are you pretty committed to, have you felt a connection? Like you're decided you're joining yet? Or are you still like up in the air?
No, I'm still up in the air, and I really respect you in the industry. I see that you're with so-and-so brokerage, and that really, I watch you in the industry, and I know that for you to make that move, it was really a big deal.
So then we're just going to chat, and I'm going to have my normal conversation, and I'm going to continue to fact find, because most people who are outside of EXP are a little unclear as to what the heck a sponsor even means. They don't understand what your 7 levels and blah, blah. They have no idea. So in this role play, the person you're talking to, they don't even get it. But as we're talking, I'm going to continue to go fact finding. And I will have an hour-long conversation with someone knowing full well they may sponsor to someone else. And I'm okay with that because I believe in this company. I believe in the vision. And there's plenty of agents out there for everyone. But there's someone on this call. I'll just use some examples. Raise your hand if you know who I'm talking about, that you're on my front line and you talk to other people about EXP before talking to me. Raise your hand if you're okay with me. Okay. Are you okay with me using you as an example? Right? A number of you guys. Almost everybody on my front line talked to someone else. Don Maury gave me a thumbs up. Michael Henry gave me a thumbs up. It's just normal that if you're in this industry, you know more than one person at EXP. So what do, Lonnie? I continue to develop a relationship. That's all recruiting is. It's all influences is relationship. I get into deeper relationship and I do a better job of listening to Michael Henry's needs or Don Maury's needs to make sure that I can speak directly to them. Because when I do that, do you guys know how many people have told me? They literally say this to me. Jesse, I have talked to so many people about EXP and no one has broken it down the way you have. If you hear that, you're doing it right. Okay? Because they weren't going to join with these other people they talked to because the people are bad listeners. Every one of you on this call is a better recruiter than almost anyone else in the industry because you are here. This proves to me that you are trying to learn and improve your skills. When you get to be a good listener and you can speak directly to people's hot buttons, you get comments like that. You get people saying, wow, it feels like I've known you forever. I can't believe it's our first phone call. Yeah, that's just, we've never really had a real talk before. You know that, right, Mike?
I hope you guys wrote that down. Hey, and let's let Sarah talk real quick, and then let's go to the way I would answer Lonnie because it's completely different than Jesse.
Sarah? Mine is not on that subject.
Oh, okay, all right. So we'll come back to you. So go ahead, Mike. So Mike and I are very different. Go ahead, Mike.
So Lonnie, let's go back. Lonnie said, "Hey, I'm talking to a couple other people. I want to know." You came from a great company. It's okay to say you bled red here, Lonnie. Nobody's going to beat you. We all came from there. So it's okay. I mean, so when you say, hey, I want to know the pros and cons, or I want to know why you switched, and I'll say, Lonnie, I've never been so excited in my life. I'm going to share with you the reasons I switched. And I'm going to go down that path with you. I'm going to talk briefly on the 4 pillars of EXP. And then I'm going to say, what do you love most about it? Why are you coming to me and talking to me about it? And then somewhere in the middle, at the end of that, I'm going to say, you said you're talking to a couple different people, right? When is the last time you talked to that person? And I'm going to say, oh, it's been over a month. Oh, okay. And I'll say, sometimes people feel uncomfortable going to ask certain questions to certain people. Did you feel more comfortable asking me those questions, or are you just going to every single person you can do? And that'll extract exactly who she's talked to, when the last time she's talked to him, and then I can make an educated decision based on that, whether I'm going to be unethical or not by going down the next path. But regardless, I'm going to show you whether you like it or not. You came to me and asked me, I'm going to tell you. Because what a lot of people do is say, oh, you're talking to somebody else? Oh, well, then I can't talk to you. It's like having a listing call you and say, I'm interviewing 3 brokers. Like, that's natural for humans to do that. But it's really awkward if I start out by saying, oh, no, you talked to Jesse last night? I can't talk to you. No, no, no. That portrays like a weird, awkward feeling about our company. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you every reason why I came. And ask you what part you love. And you've obviously talked to a couple people. Are you talking to me to confirm what you've already heard? Or you just still don't understand? Tell me more, right? And then I'll go down the fact-finding track too.
I love that. I'm gonna go back and listen to this recording because I love that language you just said. I guarantee you can't say it the same way a second time, but I love that. What did you say? Like, are you going, you're just trying to confirm what you already heard? I don't even know what you said. It was really good.
Are you just trying to get more people to say the same thing? Or are you confused looking for more answers? Like, there's obviously a reason you came to me, and it's probably because we came from the same company. It's possibly because we run in the same clique. It's possibly we live in the same town. It's who knows what it is, but I'm going to fact find until I find out, and then ask the question, oh God, I think I know Joe. When's the last time you talked to Joe? Oh, last night? No kidding. Interesting. And I'll ask more and I'll say, what's going on? But there are people that are on this call that literally talked to somebody the day before they signed up in our organization with another one. And it's not unethical. They were just like, look, they came to me. I asked a couple questions. That doesn't mean I'm committed to them, right? Like, there's people on this call I could look and they said, holy crap, I almost joined this organization and I would have been left alone in the dust. I would have been miserable. I would have been this, I would have been that. It's not my fault. Like, look, if a drug dealer comes up to you and says, hey, you want to buy weed? And you're like, no, I don't want to buy weed. You could be a cop. And then I come up to you tomorrow, hey, you want to buy weed? You're like, hey, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally different. So you got to.
I am so lost, but I'm glad this is being recorded because I want to know where we've just gone. And is this entrapment, Mike? Is this entrapment? That's all I want to know.
We need to go to Sarah Cruz.
Okay, I was just going to ask so our revenue share line provides way more value than other revenue share lines. What can we advertise and not advertise? Like, how do we keep ourselves out of trouble for that?
Well, Mike, I'm going to say that's a good question, but let me first make my disclaimer because this started out as a call for our organization and we're getting more and more people listening from every organization. I hope, so first of all, Sarah, who I sponsored Sarah, and I feel so proud when you just say our organization offers more value. I hope every single agent feels that way about their organization. I really do, because that makes as a company, as an industry, it means we're just up in our game. If everyone continues to provide more and more training, support, value, like have you guys been on the Agent Power Huddle that we do at 8 a.m. in the morning, California time? You guys know what Agent Power Huddle is? All right, we got to talk about that in a sec. Not enough of you raise your hands. All right, so if everyone starts to up their game, that's great. I love competition. As long as it's competition, it's helping agents sell more houses and live better lives. So Sarah, for you, what can we advertise? I don't know. And we have to talk to EXP compliance because Mike, do you know what we can and cannot say? I don't know.
I'm just saying, advertise everything we have. It's blatantly put out there. It's for every organization within our company or any other company for that matter. I even invite people not with our company to come to this call because it's good for team building, right? So that's it. So nothing we say is bad. Nothing we say is wrong. I'll go out on a limb and say we are 100% compliant. So I would say one of the reasons I joined this organization is because of the people, the meetings, the education, the loyalty, the camaraderie. Those are the reasons I joined the organization, and it's open for you to test drive. Anything you want, invite them.
And
I don't think you have to hide anything.
no, I love it, Mike. And let's talk Agent Power Huddle for just a second. So those of you who don't know what it is, write it down. agentpowerhuddle.com. Mike, you want to type in the chat box? agentpowerhuddle.com. It happens every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. California, 10 a.m. Central Standard, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. agentpowerhuddle.com. What it is, it's brokerage agnostic. There is zero mentions of EXP other than at the very end of the call, we're going to have a little voiceover that will just be like, boop, if you were invited here as a guest, you want to learn more about blah, blah, blah. It's just training for the sake of training. So back to John Cheplack style stuff that Mike was telling you about. Our goal is to lead, train, and support the competitors' agents better than their current leadership. So if and when they're ready to make a change, they consider us. I'll say that again because it's my favorite John Cheplack quote ever. I put it into the chat earlier just to Mike. I will cut and paste it here for everyone right now. Boom. We want to lead, train, and support the competitors' agents better than their current leadership. So if and when they're ready to make a switch, they will consider you. So Sarah, for you, if you're proud of our organization, I love it. Your organization runs Agent Power Huddle, right? So you can invite agents to Agent Power Huddle as guests. We will train them. And then when they sponsor, we're going to send them back to you. And if you're not in an organization and you want to use Agent Power Huddle, go for it. The only difference is your leaders of your organization aren't running it, but you can still say it's EXP. Just the people in our organization get a little extra bang for their buck because you're like, yeah, that's my sponsor who's did that amazing training. Hopefully I was good, right? Hopefully they like it. It didn't tank. It was a train wreck. That's my sponsor. He sucked today. He's usually really good, right? Like that's the benefit of this. And so if every organization starts to create training like this, I'm thrilled. If not, use ours. I want Agent Power Huddle to be the destination that all of you use as the top of your funnel. If you can't have the conversation that Mike had, if you can't pick up the phone with an agent and say, hey, that was a tough deal, that was a good deal, like, and just if you're just like, look, I'm still too shy to even say that. First of all, just say what Mike said. It's a lot faster. You want to go one step earlier? Invite him on Agent Power Huddle. Shoot out a text. We got this amazing training every day. You want to jump on? It's not brokerage talk, just training for training's sake. Does this make sense, guys? Raise your hand, nod your head. Does it make sense? All right, we got 15 minutes more. Mike, you got something you want to do? Another question?
Yeah, I just wanted to break down what you said. It's our job to coach, lead, train, and mentor better than their current brokers. So if something ever changes or happens, we're your next choice. That's a really hard thing to say. And I just wanted to show you guys how I say it all the time and it works out. There's a lot of, I guess I've listened to John Cheplack's freaking podcast so many times it's kind of engraved in me. So when I call somebody or if I ask them, another agent, a cross-sell agent, whatever you call that, they will, and I'll say, hey, let's just get together. And if I say, let's get together, and they say, Mike, I don't want to be recruited to EXP, and I just say, you know what, that's totally fine. It's going to be our first meeting. I want to talk about really the only thing that matters, you and your business. And then if you're curious, we can then explore EXP. But right now, I just want to create a relationship, and I want to teach you. I want to train you and expose you to things that maybe you don't know exist. And look, and I'll be honest with you, at the end of the day, if something changes or happens with your current situation, I want to be your second choice. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not intimidating. It's not threatening. That's it. How's that sound? And they're always like, oh, well, that's pretty cool, right? So don't try to stumble over that whole sentence. Just say, look, man, I want to give you the information. I don't want to recruit you, but if something does happen, I just want to be your second choice. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Megan, go on mute. We can hear you.
Some like random person just walked in our office. Sorry. Cool.
So anyways, what else do you have, Jess?
I'm going to see if we got 10 minutes for questions. This is the time because guys, as our organization is growing, we're getting more and more messages. Me and Mike, questions. Hey, what about this? What about that? I love questions. I eat questions for breakfast. Go ahead, Don.
So I just put a new agent out of my area, not a team agent, just an agent out of San Francisco. And when I was, going through the recruitment process, I was answering a lot of his questions. Well, now he's onboarded, but now he's got all these questions, and it's like, what do you say, Mike? You say, look, I'm your sponsor. I'm not your you need to go to the EXP world to get these questions answered. I'm trying to he wants to come to me for everything. How do I transfer? I'm using Brent Gove's onboarding process, but now he keeps coming to me for all these little questions. I'm like, dude, don't call me. You need to go to EXP world and get these answered.
Here's two different answers. Ready? This is a really common thing that happens because Don, believe it or not, you're a likable guy. And even if you're not likable, you're at least knowledgeable. So people start to gravitate to expertise. Don used to be a Tom Ferry Elite Plus coach, guys. By the way, if you don't know this, Don's a badass. He is. And he comes across very mild mannered, but he's really good. So Mike Bjorkman, I want to see how you'd say this because I'll tell you how I would say it. And then I can tell you how David Golden says it because we're all different people and we have different styles. Don, are you a high D by any chance? Decisive, driver, dominant, like off the chart?
Super high D. Like I'm just like, I don't want to hear about the labor. Just show me the baby. I don't want to hear about the pains and all this. I just want to see the baby. Just show me the baby.
Right. So as Don asked this question, keep that filter in mind. Don is like, you're already joined. What the heck? So number one, never abandon anybody. Okay. If you sponsor them, they're part of your world, but you don't have to be their everything. You just have to point them in the right direction. So the way a high D should say it is exactly the way you just said it. And you got to tone it down a little bit so you don't offend the person. And the way I would probably tell you to say it would be, and Mike, I want to see if you have a different version. I would say, that's a really good question. You know what? The best place to probably look is let's jump into EXP World together. I'll show you where to find it. And the next time you can go into EXP World by yourself because I'm not available all the time and I don't want to be the bottleneck to hold you up. So I want to show you where to go directly for that information. Is that cool? That's why I say it. Mike, how do you say it?
Similar to you. And I just say, Jesse, let me be upfront with you. Just like real estate, I have a staff and a support team. Honestly, I haven't wrote a contract in 5 years. I don't even know how to get into write an offer if I want. With my EXP business, I know just enough to be dangerous. I can show you where to go in the world. It's called the concierge or EXP experience. Those people have all the answers in the world. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be busy. Jump in there. If you can't figure it out in there, then make sure you come back to me and we will do anything we have to figure it out. But that's what those people are paid for. And they have the answers a lot better. And I might say something, but they give you really cool links. They give you things that you can bookmark, things that I would never even know about. But do me a favor, Jesse, when you figure that out, I'm curious too, will you come back and share it with me and possibly the link they give you? Because I want to bookmark that too, because somebody else will ask this question in the future.
And if you, I love that, Mike. I think that was better than mine even. I always love Mike's stuff. If you want the third answer, this is the high D version, Don Mowry from David Golden. So David Golden is not on this call. If you're in our organization, he's probably connected to almost everyone here though, which means he's the luckiest bastard on the planet, right? He got it first. Doesn't mean he's better than you or worse than you. He just got it first. David is the most strategically efficient human being I know. Does anyone know in plain English what strategically efficient means? Type it in the box. It's 4 letters. It starts with an L, ends with a Y.
Damn it.
Lazy. David's been my business partner for 10 years. I love David, best man at my wedding. But I will go on record as saying that I came up with this term strategically efficient to describe David because it was a nice way of saying, you're lazy as shit, dude. Like, I'm telling you, right? So David goes on vacation all the time. And like, I rarely curse, but when I talk about David, I got to drop it in there. Like, I'm sorry if you have kids listening. Okay. So David's answer when I joined EXP for anything I asked him, do you know what his answer was via text? He would text me back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 letters. He just texted me back EXP World. Whatever I'd ask, he'd just be like EXP World. Like literally, he wouldn't even bother to tell me go to, like Eric just typed it in, go to EXP World. He wouldn't even say go to Eric. He would just literally say EXP World. I was like, you're killing me, dude. Can you help me with anything? So I don't know if I'd recommend that, but clearly it worked out okay. I didn't leave the company. I'm still here. But anyway, James, you got a question?
Yeah. Hey, so I have a buddy out of state. I'm based in LA. I have a buddy in Austin that's thinking about transitioning his team to EXP. So I pretty much introduced him to EXP. I think he's kind of sold on the move. But I guess another EXP agent locally are trying to recruit them as well, and pretty much had them talk to one of the like the top line people. And then I guess they kind of told them how there's like a camaraderie within the local EXP agents. And he was asking me about how that is, but obviously I couldn't answer because I'm not in Austin.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, we have a pretty, extensive group of EXP agents throughout nationwide. One thing I could tell you is probably, I don't think those Austin agents will send you referrals, but obviously you might get some referrals here.
So James, here's where you want to use, and James, you are actually in my organization. I know this because we were texting before the call.
Yeah.
We can talk more offline, and I can send you a link to a webinar that will train you on this. This is where you want to set up a 3-way call. Everybody put up 3 fingers. 3 fingers in the camera. 3, Like West Side, right? We're doing how to do West Side, 3 fingers, 3-way call. That's what this now means. This is no longer West Side. This is 3-way call. If you don't know what a 3-way call is, it means you're going to take you, the person who's thinking of joining, and someone from your organization and get them on Zoom together. You make a short introduction, you shut yourself on mute, and you get the heck out of the way and let the person you introduced just do their thing, right? Because what you were doing here, and first of all, is it frustrating that you already took your friend down this journey and then suddenly someone local swoops in? Of course it's frustrating. I'm not taking away from that in any way, shape, or form, right? That's why I'm telling you guys, don't be that agent, right? Like, do the right thing. We can't control everyone in our company. Does it happen? Sure. But I'm competitive. I'm really competitive. So if it's game on, I'm going to win. Okay. And because you're my business partner, I'm going to help you win. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to find out what the hot button is for them. Caleb, I'll come right back to you. We're going to find out what the hot button is for them. And then we're going to show how what we have directly serves what they're talking about and fits their needs and impacts their business in a different way. They might have been razzle dazzled by the local people. Like, we got camaraderie. Awesome. Do you want camaraderie? Do you want friends? Do you not have any friends in the real world? I'm confused. Are you joining a company for friends? What's really important to you? And I'm not trying to eviscerate them, not to use a big word, but like rip them apart to shreds. Like, but if they came in after the fact and I was already there, we're going to rip them to shreds. Not in a mean way. I'm not going to say anything mean about them. I'm going to love on them because I love on all EXP agents. But you better believe I'm going to deliver more value that connects to that person's hot buttons to make sure they sponsor to you, because you started this journey with them and we're going to end it with them. Kayla, what's your question? And we'll come back to you, James, and we can talk more offline. But Caleb, you had a question? Is it related?
I guess
to this
mine was just.
What was that?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Is it? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, mine was kind of going off of what James was saying a little bit, and it would be mainly when you put so much effort into recruiting, I guess, or I guess. Emphasizing your points about EXP State. How's that affect you overall when you're trying to basically go after veteran agents versus someone who's just brand new out of the gate? I mean, what's the influential level or the influential ratio pan out if you're trying to go after a veteran?
Mike, I don't know if it's my internet or Caleb.
Veteran agent that could be,
all right, hey, Caleb.
Basically is smart enough to make their own decisions.
Yeah, Caleb, your audio unfortunately is cutting in and out. We're almost at the top of the hour, so send me a text and I will answer that question. I think you're asking about recruiting veteran agents versus newbie agents. I will absolutely anser that, but your audio is cutting in and out too much.
Yeah,
we're going to run out of time anyway, so I'll send you a message. Text me. I'll drop you my cell number in the chat here, and just send me a text, and I'll make sure to answer that and send it over to you. James, before we run out of time here, and Mike, I'll let you wrap up this call. I don't know if you're still here, James, on mute. Did that answer your question, though? I kind of went through it quick and just was like, blah, here's what I do. I got all competitive for a minute, but like, did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Absolutely.
Okay.
So I guess, I'll try to set something up.
Right. So send me a text again, James. I'll tell you the exact script to say via text or on the phone. Do you guys know the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Mm-hmm. Okay. How many of you, and Mike, this might be the way to wrap this up unless you got a thought, but ready? Okay. I want you to picture that show. Can you guys think about the contestant on there thinking of trying to win $1 million? Okay. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You guys can hear the music, the tension. How many of you guys would like to be on that show? Raise your hand. How many of you think it'd be terrible to be on the show, but you'd like the $1 million at the end? I'm telling you right now, you are a contestant on that show. You are, because all of you have the opportunity to make $1 million a month if you wanted, if not even a year. Like, we have so many friends in our company that are literally making $1 million plus per year. Some of them are close to hitting it per month at this point. This is just like that show. And the reason is because in that show, you guys remember, I want to use a lifeline, right? They're asking trivia questions. And they're like, I don't know how to answer that. I'm going to use a lifeline. 3-way calls are your lifeline. I want to use a lifeline, because you don't have to do this alone. Recruitment is a team sport. Agent attraction is a team sport. All of you here on this call, whether you're in the same organization or not, can help each other. That's why this is fun. This is the most fun I have ever had in my real estate career. Mike Bjorkman, you agree? Most fun you've ever had?
Yeah, I totally agree. Sorry, I was trying to copy and paste that Brian Crothers video. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah. All right, so you want to wrap this thing up? We're at the top of the hour. We got Building an Empire, Matthew Soto. If you have questions we didn't answer, do you like this format of 30 minutes training, 30 minutes Q&A? Is this a good format? Okay. So if we end up having more questions than we have time for, we'll do more of these every week. Right now it's once per week because for a while we were having 3-4 people on. Now we're consistently having 20 people on. Mike, does this make you smile? Like, it's working, dude. This is
Oh yeah,
working.
we're growing. Yeah, we're growing. It was 3 or 4, but now we're doing good.
This is working. And guess what, guys?
Tell a friend too. Tell somebody in your organization. If every single person that you sponsor is not on this, it's crazy. That's not going to help you. You need to have everybody below you on. It's my job to get everybody below me. Your job to get everybody below you. Use your KV core to communicate with the agents in your organization. Use BombBomb, whatever. Make sure people know about all the good we have, because it's a lot easier to attract agents to the company if they know how many cool things we have and how supportive we are. Never let them feel alone on an island.
Guys,
I got a question.
Well, I'm going to officially wrap up the call, Chris, because I want to respect people's time. But Chris, if you want to ask a question, we'll hang. I got time to hang and answer more questions for anyone who wants to stay, but I want to be very respectful. We're at the top of the hour. I want to tell you to take action. Mike and I, who are leading this call, both copied and pasted from the chat the Brian Carruthers video on three-way calls into another browser because I heard Mike playing it already. Okay, if you're going to make money like the successful people in the world, do what we do. Take action. Okay, just take action. So guys, enjoy your day, enjoy your week. I'll let the recording roll. Chris, anyone else to hang? We'll answer some questions still. We're happy to hit Mike. I got a few minutes. You got some time, Mike?
I'm exhausted. I got to go.
All right, well, I'll hang for a few minutes to answer your questions. Chris, guys, everyone, we love you all. Have a wonderful week. All right, bye guys. And Chris, I'll hang and I'll answer a question.
Okay, thank you.
What do you got, Chris?
Actually, the question was for Mike, but if he's got to get it, I can catch him later. But
no, there you go.
Yeah, I was just curious if there's any reason he was using KV Core instead of CRM Grow.
Oh, I know the answer to that one. It's the one he has and it's free and he's got it. It doesn't matter what CRM you use. Like, just pick one, dude. You know what my CRM looks like for the most part for recruitment? I mean, I'm not as big as Mike yet. I got a couple hundred people in my RevShare group, but I added like 48 people in the last 30 days. So I'm growing pretty quick now. My CRM was this for a while. Can you guys see this? Whoop, where is it? Little pad of paper on my head. Yeah. Like, I'm a spreadsheet CRM systems guy. I love my systems. And I was so busy. I know so many agents. I couldn't even add them to a CRM fast enough. Like Facebook Messenger is my CRM. I just scroll through Facebook Messenger. How many of you guys, if everyone's already jumped off, how many of you guys who are in my organization know me from Facebook Messenger is how we connected first? That's just all I do is look through Facebook Messenger. Oh, there's persons, talk to that person. That's it. Does that make sense, Chris?
Yes, thank you.
Don't overthink it, bud. Don't overthink it. I like CRM Grow. I'm using that one. Go ahead, Liz, you got a question? Or no, you're just moving your pen around. All right. You guys got questions? Anything else?
Yeah.
I just want to,
All right, let's do Matthew, Lonnie, and then another one. All right,
not really a question, but I know there's some objections like there on Facebook that somebody typed and I responded to. Right now, I'm reading this book, which y'all put his YouTube link because it is written by Brian, however you pronounce his name.
Brothers.
Yep. So there's some really great stuff in there that you can relate to real estate that will help you with all this. So that's just a recommendation from me.
Thank you.
Y'all want to grab that book because it's a great book that
dude
I've been loving. And there's even a section on there that handles objections that talks about how do you respond with the felt kind of verbiage. So it's great stuff, guys.
Every single leader in EXP has read that book at least once. I'm telling you guys, like we talk about it at least once a week on a call. It's not an accident. Thank you, Matthew, for having someone else other than me talk about that book. It's so good. It's so good. All right. You got it. Eric says Phil found it so powerful. Who else got a question? We had Lonnie, you had a question?
Yeah, so I know that the Master and Attraction in Cabo San Lucas is starting to get advertised. So where do we sign up for that? Because I help them with recruiting as well, and I want to make sure I have that blocked out in my calendar and signed up.
You have more knowledge about it than I do, so we will figure it out for next week. I don't even know. Is that the Brent Gove event in Mexico? Yeah, there's a call. So I think there's a call on that is going to be.
And then I do have other questions besides that. So sorry.
No worries. Yeah, I'm doing a call with Brent Gove and some people. There's a small group call happening next September 9th. So that I know I'll get more details then, and I can reach out to Brent before that and see. I don't think they started selling tickets to it yet, have they?
I don't think so. There's just being saying like it's out there.
Oh yeah, no. It's February 21st to the 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You got another question?
Yeah. So I know there's a really good recruiter out here for EXP. I think his name is like Bobby or something like that. He came over from Windermere, and
Cool.
he's smashing it out here.
Cool.
So a lot of my people that I talk to actually go to his, what is it, agent attraction, his huddle, whatever case may be that he does. And then I'll talk with my friends, and they're like, why should we sign up with you versus him? Because I'll say my sponsor is not very active per se.
Mhm.
And why should I go to his downline rather than somebody who's fairly active?
Yeah. So I'm gonna pause. Hold on one sec here.
And I don't want to say who, you know.
Yeah, I know, and I know the organization. I'm just trying to think like, I'm gonna let the recording roll. It's fine. I'll talk about it because it's real. It's real that sometimes there are people in or EXP that you might have a sponsor that was engaged at one point and then disconnects. You don't have control over your sponsor. Once you join the company, that's your sponsor, right? So choose wisely. And according to EXP's definitions, your sponsor is the person who most influenced you to join the company. That's it. They have no other obligations to you. In the real world, that's not what happens. And I knew this as soon as I joined this company, because a year and a half ago when I joined, I said, this is going to be a race. This is going to be a race for which organization can provide the most value. And EXP doesn't want it, because EXP doesn't want us infighting and having competition until it turns into, it's a race to see who can provide the most value. And all we're doing is making everyone look good because we're helping everyone sell more houses. So that the other leaders, when we talk offline, that's the conversation we have. It's how can we all share and spread? Like there's some other guys that we talk about. So this guy locally, if you're talking about how do you compete with him, because you are competing, right? You need to be, we should talk offline, get on my calendar, talk to jz.com, right? You know my link, just book a time next week. Let's make a game plan for what do we need to do to step up your presence locally. If they're having conversations with you, you're already doing enough. You don't need to do anything else. You can leverage the resources we already have, like Agent Power Huddle. We do a lot of stuff. You just need to make sure they plug in. It doesn't matter if your sponsor is disconnected because I sponsored your sponsor.
I know.
Right.
And I should have just not used. I know why you guys pushed me towards that for my sponsor. But in all reality, I probably should have done.
No. Can I tell you why you shouldn't have? Why you're in the right spot? So here's 2 reasons why. The only reason I know you is through that gentleman.
Right.
So for that alone, you're connected to him. Second, I'm going to get all spiritual and woo-woo on you for a minute, but things happen for a reason. Okay. And today that gentleman might be disconnected, but I guarantee we're going to get him reconnected, and he has a superpower. He does. And everybody's got their own superpower, but I know this person, like this man is powerful. And when we get him to plug in, but you know how we're going to get him to plug in? When you really launch. When you launch and you start bringing in a ton of people, he's going to be like, I'm not getting paid on like 6 lines. What is going on? And be like, well, game on, dude. That's why I can pour love into you. Besides the fact that I care about you and want you to kick butt, it's a strategic business reason that if I get you to recruit a ton of people, it's going to put pressure on him to go, because he's your sponsor and he's not getting paid beyond his first level, right? So that's really it all. It's why the brilliance of EXP creates this collaboration. You're in the right place. You are. And if you right now you're not feeling comfortable with it, don't talk about him, right? Just talk about me and talk about my sponsor, who's Brent and Mike and everybody else. That's who you're going to sell. Make sense?
Yeah.
And thank you, Liz. I appreciate it. All right, what other questions we got, guys?
I got one, Jesse. So I have no issues with the recruiting, as far as the calling them up and like getting on a quote unquote like coaching call, like that's not a big deal. So I made a chicken list of about 150 people that are all independent brokers, large team leaders, bigger than me, right? What's I don't know if angle is the word, but I'm not going to get on a call with them and like, let me help you with your business. Like they need to help me with my business, right? So what's the angle or what's the path I should take them down?
So I'm going to see if I can find it quickly enough.
And I'll preface it with this as well. A lot of these people are people I know, haven't, kind of maybe lost connection, haven't connected in a while. Like we're not like quote unquote friends, we're more business acquaintances. And I may have not even talked to these people in a couple of years.
Yep. And it doesn't matter when you talk to them, it doesn't matter at all. What I'm going to write down here is a link to Michael Reese. You guys know Michael Reese, Jake Hinder, Michael Reese? AgentAttractionTraining.com. So I keep meaning to put a site like this together. They already did it. And so I use their site because it's free, AgentAttractionTraining.com. There's a PDF in there that I don't know if I can find it fast enough. I can see if I can put it on the screen. Let me see if I can find it while we're chatting. Agent Attraction Training. So what they explain, and this isn't their concept, this comes from somewhere else. It has to do with social standing, Craig. So let's just call it 3 different categories, make it super simple.
Like the red, green, blue?
Yep.
Talking about? Yeah.
Yep. There are people in the world that have less experience than you. Not even talking real estate, but let's put it in the context of real estate. The people who are less, and they look up to you, and you know they look up to you, and it's mutual, right? There's no surprise. So those people, it's really easy to go and say, son, let me school you about real estate, right? You're like, let me drop some knowledge on you. Like, oh, Craig, let me talk to you. Then you got the people that are the same level as you, right? And maybe they think they're better than you, maybe they don't. I don't know, but they're mutually agreed upon. They're about the same level. They're the ones you're going to go to and talk like peers and say, look, what's important to you? This is what's important to me. It's probably the same thing as to you. Now you got your whales. Here's where I'm going to their whales. These are the people that you just said you have your chicken list. They're better than you. They either sell more houses, have more experience, better people. I don't know. They smell better. They look better. I don't know what your qualification is, but they're just better people than you. They know it and you think it. Maybe you don't think it, but they know it. And it doesn't matter what you think, it matters what they think. If they think they're better than you in their heart, they might not say it out loud. This is the approach you use. You go to them humbly, on your knees, as best as your ego can take it. You start by giving them a genuine compliment. Ready? I'll role play it with you. Craig, dude, by the way, that hat is awesome. I really dig your hat today.
Thank you.
How do you feel right now?
Better.
Right. I just picked something I like. I really dig the hat. I like the logo on it. It's cool. It's plain, right? Genuine compliment. Give a genuine compliment. Doesn't matter. You're calling someone else who was role playing in real life. Genuine compliment is going to be, Craig, hey, by the way, I know we haven't chatted in a while. I do have a business reason for calling, but first of all, how you doing with everything going on in the world? You doing okay?
Yeah, last few months been crushing.
All right, cool. I just want to check in. So here's the reason I'm calling. I have always respected you as a business person. The way you run your team, first of all, you sell a ton of houses, dude, but your clients love you, your agents love you. There's something about the way you do, and I don't say it out loud enough, but I respect you, and I just wanted to tell you that.
Awesome, appreciate that. Respect you as well.
So I've been working on this project, and I'm pretty deep in it now, okay? But will you do me a favor? I am obsessed with this webinar. Will you watch it with me and give me your feedback? Tell me if I'm insane. I watch this thing all the time. Can you poke some holes in this thing for me and tell me if I'm crazy?
What's it about?
So it's about EXP. It's about the future of our industry. You don't need to change companies. I'm coming to you because I respect you. And frankly, man, like, I just want to see if I'm missing something. Okay. Will you watch this thing? Just give me your feedback. Plus, it kind of sounded like fun to watch it together. Does it sound like fun to watch it with me?
I mean, I'm busy. You can send it to me, but I don't know about watching it with you.
What'd you say?
I said, I mean, I can watch it. I don't know about watching it with you. I'm pretty tied up.
Yeah. Well, dude, if you're too busy, no worries. I'll go on. I'll cycle back in a week, 2 weeks, whenever. We can just go back to different friends. But this is what I know. If I send you a link to something because you're busy, like I'm busy too, you ain't ever going to watch it. Let's just be honest. Okay. Like, if you don't want to watch it, there's no problem. There's no pressure. I just truly, like, I respect your opinion, and I would love to see just rip this thing apart. Like, there's a reason you aren't with us. So I want to know what I'm missing. Will you check it out with me?
Sure.
All right, cool. And if you said no, I'd give up at that point. I wouldn't push any further than that. That was my last, like, if he's really not feeling it, if I don't have enough rapport or connection, or he's just not there, I'm going to move on because I don't want to talk to jerks. I don't. You know how many agents there are out there right now? And if they're a baller and they're really busy and you haven't figured out a way to get through their ego, move on. Because you got 100 people on your list. Right, Craig?
Yes.
Go on to the next one. If they push back last time, but if you push back a couple times and just take all the pressure off, look, I know you're not changing companies. It's cool. I just want to get feedback. I want to get your opinion. Rip this thing apart. Any of those language you can use. Make sense?
Cool. Yes.
What do you think won't work about that?
I mean, I just internalize it for myself. Like, if someone came to me, like, I'm busy, I'm not going to watch a webinar with them. I mean, maybe schedule something next week, but it's like, you know.
So here is the script for you, because you're a high D. If I'm really calling you, this is Mike Bjorkman's script. And I don't ever use this script because I use the other side of it because I'm a high I, high D, but this is Mike Bjorkman's script, which will work better for you, Craig, because this is your style. Ready? All right, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Craig, it's Jesse. Long time no talk. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Hey, I know we haven't talked in a while. I do have a business reason for calling, but first of all, I just want to check in. With everything going on in the world, how you doing? Everything okay?
Yeah, been good.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm really good. We spent a lot of time at the river this summer. It's been good. I feel blessed. So, hey, here's the reason I'm calling. You probably know that I went over to EXP. And I know that someone like you, like, I respect you. I respect how you run your business. I know you're not just going to up and make a change, but I got to ask you. Has anyone sat you down? I mean, like really sat you down and just broken down the model for you?
I mean, I've seen some videos. I talked to a couple of people so far. Yeah.
I mean, everyone's seen videos, dude, but I mean, I'm talking to someone like you are a successful business person that I guarantee you pride yourself on knowing about everything that's out there. Whether you're with a company or not, you know that it's out there and you want to know what exists. You can, if you go on a listing appointment with an EXP agent, you want to know how to sell against them. So has anyone really broken down all the tools that EXP agents have and like really broken down the model for you?
I mean, I think so, but I don't. I mean, obviously, I don't know with the company, so I don't know what all is there to offer.
All right. So two options here. Pause the role play. You can literally just close for the appointment, or what I would do is I would just go fact finding. Like, so what do you know about EXP? I'll have a conversation. So what do you know about? So this, because my style is different than Mike's. Mike would be like, bro, you don't know. I'm telling you right now, you don't know. So let's sit down, let's chat, right? That's Mike's style. Me, I would default back to my style, which is more like, so what do you know about EXP? And then we go fact finding, and you'd tell me, and I wouldn't say you're wrong. So let's role play it. What do you know about EXP? What have you heard?
Cloud brokerage. You got some stock, got some rev share.
Interesting. What else do you know?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. Can I tell you the truth?
Sure.
You ever seen an iceberg?
Yes. Not in person, but on TV or whatever. Yeah.
I've never seen one in person either. I don't live in Alaska, but like, can you picture what an iceberg looks like? That little tiny tip at the top?
Yeah.
Do you know how big an iceberg is under the surface?
It's like 90% under the surface. Yeah.
This is just like that. Okay. You know the tip of the iceberg, and it's just enough that you're like, I don't really care. Right. And by the way, if this person cusses, I'm going to drop an F-bomb in there as a pattern interrupt. Right. I'm going to be like, you don't fucking know. Right. But I don't know what his language is. I don't curse, but if I'm talking to the right person, you need to snap them out of it. You need to smack them around verbally to get their attention and make sure that they know that you are real. You're not a sales robot. And you're going to say, look, you don't even know. Okay. So I'm going to say it again. Has anyone sat you down? I mean, really sat you down and broken it down for you? There's zero pressure for me. I know you're not making a change. I don't need you to make a change, but I feel like at least you want to know what's beneath the iceberg so you know why this thing is growing faster than any other company. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay, I'll keep it short, keep it sweet. I know you're busy. What's your least busy day? You want to do tomorrow, next day? What's your schedule like?
Let's shoot for next week.
Okay. You guys hear, if you listen back to this recording, the sound of my voice changed, the phrasing, everything. I kept it short because I talk a lot. But with Craig, he's a high D and I know this. And so I better get into it and I better smack him around and demand some respect.
And just to be clear, we're going to do a Zoom and we're going to play the Brent Goad video. Is that what we're doing?
Whatever you want to do. Like with this person, if they're a baller, if you got someone on the line, Craig, that does 100 deals a year, 100 a year, they got a team, I'm not playing a video for anyone because I'm going to do a better job than any video out there. I know that about myself. I'm a human being will always beat a video. So even though we want to use the system, if you've got a really big baller, set them up for a conversation with someone else. If it's less threatening to use a video, use the video. If you know the perfect video, because it might not be the model explained for everybody. It might be a different video. There might be a 9-minute video. If you think a video is the right way to go with this person, use a video. Whatever is the most powerful, impactful thing, do that next. Make sense?
Sure. Yes. Thank you.
That's where when you play baseball, it's called fielder's choice. You got to choose. That's where you get to use this is why it's an art, not a skill. If you're going to team me up, because Craig and I are connected, if you're going to team me up to do a presentation, I'm going to say at the very beginning, hey, just so you know, everything I'm about to tell you is recorded. You never have to learn to say what I'm about to say. I just like people and I'd rather have a conversation. So I do it this way, but we got a recording I'll send to you afterwards. And then I launch in. Tell me about yourself. We got a whole training, native respond. We got a whole other training on this thing on the recruitment interview, the structure of that. And Craig, that's why I recommend you get from one of these ballers. If you look up to them or they think they look down on you, don't do it yourself. Leverage someone else. Even if they sell more houses than me, still position me as like, this guy Jesse's amazing. Even if you think I'm a total turd, still position me as the expert. I'm serious. Position, like you got to talk to Jesse. Like I'm telling you, I've never met someone he's an interesting dude. I've never met someone quite like him. Say it like that, safe. Did that answer your question now?
It does. Thank you.
Can you do that? Can you call your chicken list and have that conversation?
Yeah. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to say no. I mean, whatever.
Nothing. And that is why you're going to be such a good recruiter. Will you role play with me sometime? Call me. Let's role play. I'm happy to do it with you if you like role play. If not, pick up the phone, just start doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just do it. That's why I can tell you Craig's going to make a ton of money and impact a ton of lives. He doesn't care. He's just going to do it. That's why Craig's awesome. All right. Guys, Has this been fun? Thank you for hanging around to the bitter end. Lonnie, you got a quick question? You're out. Is that a piece? We out? All right. Love you guys. Have a good day. Good to see you, Lonnie, Liz, Nate, Carol, Craig, Brandon. Bye, guys. Enjoy your day. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Carol had a question. She typed in the question. What is the number 1 and number 2 Zoom training or video training to bring a potential agent? You're talking about someone who hasn't joined EXP? Someone who hasn't joined EXP? Let's do this next week on this call. We will go through all of the tools that are available, because videos are tools, and we'll tell you because everyone's got a different personality, and I can't answer it in 1 or 2 minutes. Then if you want a really short answer, the video that works for 90% of the people is the model explained.
Is that Brent Cove?
That's Brent Cove's, the model explained. That's the safest thing to use for everybody. But if you want to get nitty gritty with the tools, we'll do it next week. Remind me. Craig will answer that question for you too. What do we do next? That's a tools question. Thanks. Not the band, like the physical thing. All right. Bye, guys. Love you all. Have a good day.